Okay, so I am Cass Lindsay, English 101 presentations. Okay, so the title of my essay, let me pull it open. Turning hobbies into jobs when passion becomes problematic. Okay. Hobbies are supposed to be fun and relaxing. There are things we do for enjoyment, like drawing, playing sports, or even watching television. But what happens when those hobbies start making you money? This thesis is all about what goes wrong when you turn something you love into something you have to do for a paycheck. It looks at the mental and emotional effects of monetizing hobbies like stress, burnout, and losing the joy you once had. Using personal examples and stories, this paper digs into how turning your passion into a job can make it feel less like fun and more like a grind. And let's be real, grinds aren't fun. Okay. The structure of the paper, this was the original draft that I scrapped and then eventually sent to my mom and reused for this. Was originally set up like a complete scientific thesis. It had here's the introduction, here's the thesis, here's the everything had a title. And I sent it to my mom and she said, "Cass, you gotta get rid of that." And I did. Let's see. Honestly, while writing this entire paper, I realized that as fun as hobbies can be, and as neat as it is to try to turn it into something that'll make me money, it's not for me, and it's definitely not for everyone. I do envy the people who are able to turn their hobby into a job and still find enjoyment, but that's just not me. Let's see. What was the most unexpected or interesting thing I learned about my topic? Well, to say the least, it's that it's actually not as. I can't say. What's the term? It's not as niche of an experience as I honestly kind of thought it would be. It's actually quite common. I mean, as I said in one of my examples, my older sister, she wrote for fun back when we were in lockdown for COVID, and she would get tired. I mean, she'd come home from working at McDonald's and would try to churn out a chapter. It's I mean, she's never been paid for it, but it was her hobby, and she suddenly had an audience that loved her writing. Most challenging or difficult part of this assignment? I'll be so real. Trying to figure out. I normally don't plan my papers, and trying to plan this paper the way you taught us to was so hard for me. I'm not much for organization from the very start. I can churn out a bunch of ideas and then I'll organize it later. Not gotta have A, B, C, then under A, 1, 2, 3, under B, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. That's just not how I work. It was a nice experience, though, I guess. I'm much like my mom in that sense. If I can travel back in time, what advice would I give myself about this paper? Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Don't try to approach it as this is the end all be all. This is not sorry. Looking at the paper now, if I could go back and say, "Hey, Cass, you gotta relax." Again, look in the citations on the articles we looked at. And go to people you know first for some more stories. Honestly, I could have gone to Madeline for her own take on hobbies, what she does for fun, if it stresses her out. Instead, I pulled examples from family. Could have gotten more from friends. Uh, Length of the video has to be 5 to 7 minutes. Honestly, Zoom presentation. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the paper as I record not the paper, the presentation thing. I don't know my words. Honestly, the reason I chose why I voted for hobbies is because I'm a psych student, and there's obviously some psychology involved in hobbies. I mean, why it appeals to us, why we do it, and obviously the burnout and stress from a hobby. That instant gratification, especially people get when posting their hobby online, is so terrible. It's awful. It I've talked to my mom about it. She agrees. It's good to build a following, but that instant gratification is just awful for us. It feels nice because it releases the dopamine that we look for, but it's not good. Sorry, I can go on a tangent and it'll be a mess. And I apologize. I'm doing this pretty late. This is also my mom's room. Anyway, overall, the structure of the paper was just kind of hard for me because normally I'll write the paper and then I'll go back and I'll organize it. So, I mean, the structure of the paper is obviously, introduction, body paragraph, body paragraph, body paragraph, conclusion. Or at least that's how it's supposed to be set up. So I did that, and it's easier for me to just write down ideas, and I think I have mascara in my eye. Nonetheless, it was an experience. No, I hate my computer sometimes. It was an experience, and I wouldn't trade it because it was good for me. I think everybody should have this experience in college. I think everybody should try different methods of writing and see what works for them. For me, being completely organized from the start is not for me. If I need to read my entire paper, I can, but thank you for well, that doesn't sound genuine. Thank you for having me in your class and not saying, you talk too much, get out. I do appreciate it. Bye bye.